Every great structure begins long before the first wall is raised. It starts with the land itself, and preparing it is one of the most critical steps in the entire construction process. In this first phase of the Barndominium build, the focus is entirely on land clearing. The site, covered with years of natural growth, required extensive tree and root removal before any real progress could be made. This is not a task to rush. A properly cleared and leveled site is the foundation of everything that follows. The team began by identifying the building's corner points and surveying the cleared area. Timber removed from the site was carefully sorted. Usable wood set aside for firewood and future use, minimizing waste wherever possible. Driveway access was also a priority at this stage. Trees along the planned entry path were marked and removed to ensure safe and consistent access for heavy equipment and vehicles throughout the build. One of the more technically demanding moments came with the backhoe operations. Maneuvering heavy machinery in tight, root-dense terrain requires precision and experience, and the groundwork crew delivered exactly that. Large root systems were extracted and hauled off-site by truck, a far more efficient solution than burning, and one that keeps the timeline on track. With clearing complete, the next steps are gravel delivery and final leveling, after which construction can officially begin. The site is ready. The build is about to start. With the land cleared, the next critical phase of the Barndominium build was already underway. Returning to the property, the progress was immediately visible, and the transformation was significant. A wide, newly laid driveway now cuts through what was once dense, overgrown terrain, leading directly to the building area. The land itself has been leveled with precision, presenting a flat, stable surface ready to receive the structure above it. What's worth noting here is just how much earth was moved to achieve this result. The leveled pad sits noticeably higher than the surrounding ground, a clear indicator of the volume of dirt that was excavated, redistributed, and compacted to create a solid, even foundation. This is not a minor undertaking. Proper grading at this stage is essential to ensure drainage, structural integrity, and long-term stability. The driveway, while functional, is not yet at its final form. Plans are already in place to extend it further, creating a larger turnaround area, particularly important for accommodating an RV. That expansion will require an additional gravel delivery before it's complete. In total, the clearing and groundwork phase took approximately 2 weeks. A timeline that reflects both the scale of the job and the efficiency of the crew on site. Every phase from this point forward builds directly on the foundation established here. The groundwork is done. The build begins. After more than a year in the planning stages, this is the moment everything changes. Phase 3 marks the official breaking of ground, and with it, the Barndominium build transitions from preparation into real, tangible construction. The first order of business was setting the forms and digging the footers for the concrete foundation. This step is foundational in every sense of the word. The footers define the structural perimeter of the entire building, transferring the load of the structure down into stable soil. Getting this right is non-negotiable. Precision here determines the integrity of everything built above it. The pace of work during this phase was notable. The progress made on site was substantial, a testament to the crew's experience and a level of preparation that had gone into the phases before it. The construction sequence from this point is clearly mapped out. Plumbers are scheduled to arrive next to rough in the underground plumbing before the concrete is poured, a step that must happen in the correct order to avoid costly rework later. With the foundation forms set and the underground plumbing roughed in, the build now reaches one of its most anticipated and consequential milestones, the concrete pour. This is the phase that permanently anchors the structure to the earth beneath it, and it is a process that demands precision, coordination, and an experienced crew working in complete sync from start to finish. Before a single truck rolls onto the site, every preparatory detail is verified and confirmed. The plumbing groundwork laid in the previous phase is inspected to ensure all lines are correctly positioned and protected. Rebar is carefully placed along the footers, adding tensile strength to what will become the structural backbone of the entire building. Concrete is strong under compression but vulnerable to tension. The rebar counters that weakness, creating a composite system capable of handling the long-term loads of the structure above. Plastic sheeting is spread across the ground beneath the slab area, serving as a vapor barrier that prevents ground moisture from migrating upward through the concrete over time. This detail, often overlooked in residential builds, is especially critical in a structure designed to serve as both a living space and a working facility. Forms for the garage door openings are finalized and checked for alignment, completing the site preparation and signaling that the pour can officially begin. The concrete pour itself is a full-scale, multi-section operation that covers every zone of the Barndominium's layout. To manage the complexity and volume of the pour, a remote control boom is deployed on site. This piece of equipment allows the crew to direct the flow of concrete with accuracy into areas that a standard chute could never reach, reducing waste, minimizing labor, and maintaining a consistent pour rate across the entire foundation. The sequence begins with the footers, the deepest and most structurally critical elements of the foundation system. These perimeter and interior beams bear the concentrated load of the walls and roof above, transferring that weight evenly down into the compacted soil below. Getting the footer pour right is non-negotiable. Any voids, cold joints, or inconsistencies at this stage could compromise the structural integrity of the entire build. From there, the pour progresses through the main bathroom, the second bathroom, the garage, the apartment section of the building, and finally the back porch. Each zone presents its own set of considerations: volume, depth, finishing requirements, and proximity to embedded plumbing or conduit. The crew moves with a clear sequence and steady rhythm, ensuring no section sets too far ahead of the finishing process that must follow immediately behind the pour. As each section is filled, leveling operations begin without delay. Workers screed the fresh concrete using a straight 2x4, pulling excess material across the surface to establish an initial flat plane. This process is guided by both a physical level and a laser level, two complementary tools that together ensure the surface meets the tolerances required for flooring, cabinetry, and all the fixtures that will eventually be installed above it. A surface that appears flat to the eye can carry enough deviation to cause real problems down the line. The laser level eliminates that risk. Once screeding is complete, a bull float is worked across the surface in long, overlapping passes. This wider tool further smooths the concrete, consolidates the aggregate just below the surface, and eliminates any remaining high or low points left behind by the screed. The result is a surface that is both level and beginning to develop the density it needs for the finishing stages ahead. Along the perimeter, an edger is run carefully between the concrete and the formwork, creating a clean, defined edge that prevents chipping and cracking once the forms are eventually stripped. Mid-pour, a critical issue surfaces that requires immediate attention. A conduit intended to carry electrical wiring to the kitchen island was not placed prior to the pour, an oversight that, if left unaddressed, would require cutting into cured concrete at a later stage, a costly and time-consuming correction. An electrician responds to the situation without hesitation, installing the conduit directly into the wet concrete while the material is still workable. The conduit is properly positioned, embedded, and secured before the surrounding concrete advances through its setting process. It is a swift, professional resolution that keeps the project on schedule and avoids a significant rework scenario. With the bulk of the pour complete, attention shifts to the final finishing phase, the stage that determines the quality and durability of the surface that will be lived and worked on for decades. A power trowel is brought in for the interior sections, its rotating blades compressing and polishing the concrete surface to a smooth, hard finish. This mechanical finishing process densifies the top layer of the slab, increasing its wear resistance and reducing surface porosity, qualities that matter significantly in a structure that will see heavy use across its garage, living, and utility areas. The back porch receives a different treatment. Rather than a smooth trowel finish, a brush finish is applied, a deliberate choice that introduces a fine texture to the surface. When wet, a smooth concrete porch becomes dangerously slick. The brush texture provides traction underfoot, making the outdoor space both functional and safe in all weather conditions. It is a small but important detail that reflects the level of thoughtfulness being applied throughout this build. Once the finishing work is complete and the concrete has reached sufficient strength, the forms are carefully stripped from the perimeter. What is revealed is the full, clean outline of the Barndominium's foundation, a continuous, level slab that now defines every room, every corridor, and every functional space within structure. A detailed walkthrough of the completed foundation brings the phase to a close. Moving across the slab, the layout becomes tangible for the first time. The front porch, the kitchen island location, the main water hookup, the stove position, both bathrooms with their respective shower areas, the garage with its wide entrance, the RV access point, and the washer and dryer hookups. Every element of the design is now physically represented in the concrete beneath your feet. This is no longer a drawing on paper or a set of stakes in the ground. The foundation is poured, finished, and cured. Every wall, every beam, and every roof truss that follows will rest on what was built here. The structure can now rise. With the foundation cured and the site ready, the next critical step is ensuring the right materials arrive at the right time. Ordering for a Barndominium build of this scale requires careful planning. Every component, from structural steel to framing lumber, must be sourced, scheduled, and delivered in the correct sequence to keep the construction timeline on track. Coordinating material delivery is more involved than it may appear. Lead times, quantities, and staging all have to be accounted for well in advance. A single missing or delayed shipment can bring an entire crew to a standstill. When the delivery arrives on site, a forklift takes center stage, moving heavy loads of steel panels, lumber, and hardware with precision. The forklift operator carefully positions each pallet and bundle exactly where it needs to be, organized, accessible, and ready for the crews that follow. Proper site staging at this point is just as important as the materials themselves. Everything has a place, and placing it correctly now saves significant time and labor in the phases ahead. With the foundation solid beneath their feet and materials staged across the site, the build enters one of its most visually transformative phases. For the first time, the Barndominium begins to take shape above ground. The framing crew is on site, tools are running, and the structure is rising. Wood framing is the skeletal system of the entire building. Every wall, every opening, every interior partition starts here. As lumber cut, positioned, and fastened with precision into a framework that will define the spaces people will live and work in for years to come. This phase moves fast, but it demands the same level of accuracy as every phase that came before it. The process begins at the base. Bottom plates are anchored directly to the concrete slab, securing the wall frames to the foundation below. This connection point is critical. It ties the entire wooden structure to the concrete, creating a unified system that resists movement, shifting, and the stresses imposed by wind and load above. With the bottom plates secured, wall sections are assembled flat on the slab before being raised into position. Studs are cut to length, laid out at consistent intervals, and nailed into the top and bottom plates to form complete wall panels. Working on a flat surface allows the crew to build quickly and accurately, ensuring each panel is square before it ever leaves the ground. Then comes the moment the site truly transforms. the walls go up. Panel by panel, wall sections are lifted, stood vertically, and temporarily braced in place. What was once an open concrete slab begins to define itself. Rooms emerge, corridors take shape, and the overall scale of the Barndominium becomes clear for the first time. There is something undeniably powerful about watching walls rise from a foundation that just days ago was freshly poured concrete. As each wall section is stood and braced, the crew works to align and fasten everything into a unified plumb structure. Levels are checked constantly. A wall that is even slightly out of plumb at this stage creates compounding problems for every finished trade. Drywall, cabinetry, doors, and windows all depend on a frame that is straight, square, and true. Door and window openings are carefully framed with headers, horizontal structural members that carry the load around the openings and transfer it down to the surrounding studs. Getting the size and placement of these headers right is essential, particularly for the larger openings such as the garage entries and the RV access point, where the spans are wider and the loads above are greater. Interior wall framing follows the exterior, dividing the open structure into its individual spaces: the living area, kitchen, bathrooms, garage, and utility zones. Each partition wall is positioned according to the original floor plan, translating the design that existed on paper into physical space that can now be walked through and experienced. By the end of this phase, the Barndominium stands as a complete wood frame, walls up, openings defined, and the building's full layout visible from every angle. The crew has taken raw lumber and transformed it into the bones of a home. The frame is standing. The build continues to rise. The walls are standing, the frame is locked in, and now the build reaches skyward. Phase 7 brings one of the most impressive and technically demanding operations of the entire project: roof framing, and with it, the arrival of a crane on site. A crane changes everything on a job site. What would take a crew hours to manually lift, position, and hold in place is accomplished in minutes with precision and control. As the crane swings into position, its boom extending high above the tree line, the scale of the Barndominium build becomes undeniably clear. This is no small undertaking. The crane operator works in close coordination with the framing crew below, lifting heavy roof trusses and timber sections from the ground and setting them carefully onto the top plates of the walls. Each lift requires clear communication between the operator and the workers guiding the load from above, a well-rehearsed process that demands focus and trust on both ends. On top of the walls, the crew receives each truss, maneuvers it into its exact position, and fastens it down before the next lift begins. Truss by truss, the roof structure takes shape, a repeating pattern of engineered timber that spans the full width of the building, creating the strong, sloped framework that will eventually carry the full weight of the roof covering above. As the trusses multiply across the top of the structure, the Barndominium undergoes its most dramatic visual transformation yet. For the first time, the building has a recognizable silhouette, walls, roof line, and all. Standing back and taking in the full picture, it is clear that what began as a cleared patch of land is now becoming something real, something permanent, and something truly impressive. The crew continues working across the roof frame, adding blocking, bracing, and structural connections that tie the entire system together into one unified assembly. Every fastener, every brace, and every connection point plays a role in the roof's ability to perform under load. Whether that load comes from the weight of roofing materials, wind pressure, or the test of time, the building is taking shape. The bones are complete. What rises next will finish it. there it is. What started as nothing more than a stretch of overgrown land has become a fully enclosed, standing structure, and the transformation is nothing short of remarkable. The metal siding is on, running clean and uniform from the roofline all the way down to the foundation. The roof is sealed and weathertight. The windows are set into their openings, framed beautifully with natural wood accents that contrast the dark metal exterior in a way that is both striking and intentional. The doors are hung, the shell is complete, and the Barndominium is fully protected from the elements for the first time. Those timber porch brackets visible at the entrance are a statement in themselves, a detail that blends the rugged character of a Barndominium with the warmth of a crafted home. From the outside, this building already tells a story. Every phase of this build, from clearing the first tree to fastening the last panel of siding, has been documented and shared right here. The foundation, the frame, the roof, the exterior finish, it all came together exactly as planned. But the journey is not over. The interior still awaits, and trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. A full interior tour video is coming, where we walk through every room, every finish, and every detail of the completed Barndominium. Subscribe, stay close, and we will see you inside.